He locked eyes with me, lifted his hand, and struck me so hard my lips split. And then he laughed. That laugh wasn't just cruel, it was deliberate. A warning. He believed I was fragile. He expected me to cry, to plead, to stay silent. But I didn't. I stood frozen, not from the sting of the slap, but from the realization that hit me even harder. This man didn't love me. He no longer saw me as a partner. I was nothing more than someone he thought he could crush. Yet that moment sparked something inside me. I didn't scream. I didn't shed a tear. I didn't utter a word. I just stared back, still on the outside, but burning within. If he wanted a victim, he had chosen the wrong woman. While he carried on with his evening like nothing happened, I lay in bed quietly plotting. That moment replayed over and over in my mind, not out of fear but because I needed to remember. I needed to hold on to the truth of what he had done, and what I had to do next. This wasn't about rage. It was survival. It was about reclaiming what he had tried to strip away. Crying wouldn't fix it. Talking wouldn't change it. He had crossed a line that could never be undone. And I knew men like him. They don't stop, they just get better at hiding it. But I wasn't giving him another chance. He thought he had broken me. All he did was set me free. The moment his hand struck my face, my entire world shifted. I finally saw how small I had made myself in this house. How I tiptoed around him. How I silenced myself just to keep the peace. But no more. That slap didn't destroy me. It woke me. He laughed thinking it was the end. But for me it was only the beginning. When we first married, I had a career I loved. I earned my own money. I felt independent. Then, slowly he pushed me to quit. Why work when I can take care of you? A good wife focuses on the home. At first, it sounded tender, like he wanted to give me comfort. I believed it was love. Eventually, after months of hearing the same words, I gave in. I left my job. That was my first mistake. Soon after, his behavior changed. He started questioning every dollar I spent, even on groceries. He mocked me for not earning an income. He told me I didn't understand money since I wasn't contributing. It hurt, but I stayed silent. I thought maybe I was imagining things. But it escalated. He didn't want me speaking with former coworkers. He dismissed me when I said I missed my friends. Over time, I stopped reaching out altogether. My world shrank until I didn't even realize how isolated I had become. Every decision went through him. My voice barely mattered. But I wasn't blind. Quietly, I began paying attention. I remembered how to check accounts, read credit reports, dig through emails. He never knew I still had access to certain things, old passwords, security answers, even a backup of his phone he forgot I had. At first, I wasn't planning anything. I just wanted proof that I wasn't completely powerless. Looking back, I see it clearly now. He never wanted a partner. He wanted control. Taking my job, my friends, my independence wasn't about love. It was about power. And while he thought I was powerless, I was already keeping quiet records. Deep down, I knew one day I'd need them. That night, while he slept, his phone lit up with a message. I wasn't snooping, but something pushed me to look. It was from a woman I didn't know. The message was intimate. Too intimate. I opened the thread. My heart sank. He was using a fake name. A fake life. There were dozens of messages, photos, even plans to meet. I didn't cry. I kept reading. And then I noticed something odd. Screenshots of money transfers. The account name wasn't familiar. Not one of our shared accounts. I wrote it down. The next day, while he was gone, I searched our laptop. After digging, I found it. An online account under his name, hidden behind another email address. He had been moving money there quietly for months. He thought I wouldn't know how to find it. He thought I was too naive to track financial records. But I did. I saved screenshots, every transfer, every login, every timestamp. All of it matched his secret messages. Every move he made left a trail. And I followed. I stored everything on a flash drive and locked it away. That same week, I found a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. One with experience. I told her everything, showed her the evidence. She wasn't surprised. She had seen it before. She told me to keep gathering proof and to stay silent. It wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about lies, money, and the secrets he thought I'd never uncover. And instead of breaking me, it sharpened me. I wasn't weak. I wasn't stupid. I was ready. Every text, every dollar, every hidden account. It was all becoming evidence. And soon I would use it. The morning after he hit me, I woke before dawn. My lip throbbed, but my mind was clear. I wasn't afraid anymore. I was steady, focused. He had gone to work as if nothing had happened. No apology, no guilt, just silence. That told me everything. This couldn't be fixed. It was already over. So I acted. I dressed, called a locksmith, and said it was urgent. Within the hour, he arrived. I didn't tell the story. I just said I needed new locks. One key. While he worked, I packed some of my husband's things into a box and left them by the door. I didn't touch anything else. I didn't want him accusing me of stealing or damaging what was his. I was precise with every step. After the locks were changed, I called the landlord. I calmly explained the situation and asked for the change to be documented. They didn't pry. They agreed. I kept every receipt, every email, everything in writing. Then I checked the cameras. He had forgotten about the doorbell cam. I made sure it was working. If he tried anything, I'd have proof. I sent my lawyer a message, letting her know. She confirmed I was on the right track and told me to stay quiet. No warning. No goodbye. Just action. The day dragged. I kept glancing at the clock, waiting for him to come home. My chest tightened as the sun dipped, but I wasn't scared. I just didn't know what he'd do. Around 6, I heard his car. His footsteps. Then the doorknob rattled. The lock held firm. He knocked hard, then harder. He shouted my name. I stayed silent. He pounded, growing louder, angrier, more desperate. But now, it was his turn to feel powerless. I had all the control. And he didn't even know how much. He thought I'd still be waiting, like always. But I was done waiting. That house wasn't his anymore. It was mine. After the locks clicked shut on him, I sat down with my laptop and began the next phase of my plan. I had everything set, screenshots, account details, logins. I knew exactly what needed to be done, and I wasn't about to waste a second. He had been in control for far too long. Now it was finally my turn. The first step was logging into our joint accounts. I transferred my share into a brand new account under my name only. Then I froze every joint account completely, making sure he couldn't spend a single cent. I also notified the bank, instructing them to block any attempts on his end unless I gave written approval. Next, I went after every card we shared, credit cards, store cards, anything tied to both our names. I called and had them all frozen. I told them directly that there was a legal dispute in progress, and that I did not authorize him to use the funds. I had backup copies of every document, and even forwarded some from my lawyer to reinforce my request. But I wasn't done. I reached out to the credit bureaus and placed alerts on every joint line of credit. That way, if he tried to open anything new under my name, I'd be notified immediately. Every financial avenue he once had access to, I sealed it shut. Then I went one step further. I reported several of his hidden side jobs to the IRS. He had never reported taxes on them, thinking no one would catch on. But I had evidence. He used to brag about it, convinced he was clever. I had kept proof, screenshots of texts, payment receipts, even the fake names he used. I sent it all in. Afterward, I set up a private legal trust for my portion of the money. This way, during the divorce, he couldn't lay a hand on it. With my lawyer's help, I made sure it was airtight. I wasn't going to let him take a single penny beyond what was his. Later that day, my phone rang. His name appeared on the screen. I didn't pick up. He called again and again until I shut the phone off completely. I had nothing left to say. He could yell, plead, or cry, I didn't care. He had made his choice, and now he had to live with the fallout. That night, for the first time in years, I slept peacefully. No fear, no tension. Everything he thought he controlled was gone. Every door he assumed was open was now locked. And I was the one holding the key. Before I became a housewife, I worked in finance. Money, contracts, accounts, those were my world. I was good at it. I solved problems quickly and never missed details. Clients trusted me, and my boss relied on me. But when I met him, he told me to take a break. Said we didn't need two incomes. He wanted me at home, not working late or stressing over deadlines. He made it sound like love, like care. Slowly, I stepped away from my career. I didn't realize then that he didn't want a partner. He wanted someone easy to control. He treated me like I knew nothing, explaining basic things as if I were a child. Around friends, he'd talk over me, laugh at my opinions, or ignore them altogether. I stayed quiet for a while, just to keep the peace. I told myself maybe he just liked being in charge. But deep down, I never forgot who I was. I never lost the skills I had worked hard to earn. I was simply waiting for the right time to use them again. So when I discovered the cheating, the hidden money, the lies, I didn't break down. I acted. Quietly, carefully, I put a plan in motion. While he believed I was clueless, I was collecting evidence, consulting a lawyer, and preparing everything. He had no idea what I was capable of because he had never truly seen me. That was his greatest mistake. As I cut off his access to accounts, blocked his cards, and secured my share, his world began to collapse. The IRS shut down his side jobs. His mistress vanished once I revealed the truth to her. His friends stopped picking up his calls. One by one, everything he used to cling to for power slipped away. He had always been the one in control. Now he was the one chasing, only to find closed doors at every turn. For the first time in years, I felt like myself again. Not the silent wife swallowing insults. Not the woman who kept her head down at home. I was strong, sharp, and prepared. Everything he tried to take from me, I reclaimed. He had thought I was weak. He had thought I was simple. He never realized the woman beside him could dismantle him with facts, records, and strategy. And by the time he finally understood, it was too late. There was one final step I knew I had to take. It wasn't about revenge. It was about the truth. He had been seeing another woman for months, maybe longer, using a fake name and false stories, convincing her they had a future. I wondered if she even knew he was married. Maybe she was just another victim, like I had been. I didn't reach out right away. I waited until everything else was secure. Locks changed, accounts frozen, legal protections in place. Then I opened his phone and gathered screenshots of messages, photos, money transfers, and all the lies he told her. He had even claimed he was already divorced, saying I was crazy and controlling. All complete lies. Finding her profile was easy. She looked normal, not like someone trying to steal a husband. So I sent her a short message. No insults, no blame. Just the truth. You probably don't know me, I wrote. But I'm the woman your boyfriend has been married to for the past 6 years. Here's what he hasn't told you. Then I sent the screenshots. At first, she didn't respond, but I saw she'd read it. Hours later, she replied, shocked, confused, embarrassed. She thanked me for showing her. She said he had told her I was gone, that they were about to move in together. She had no idea she was being used. I didn't feel joy, or even anger. Just calm. Another weight lifted. She deserved to know the truth, and maybe this would stop him from doing it to someone else. I told her I wasn't reaching out to fight. I only wanted her to know the truth from someone who had lived it. After that, she blocked him. I knew because his calls started flooding my phone immediately after. He must have realized what I had done. Furious, he left angry voicemails, shouting that I had ruined everything. But I hadn't ruined a thing. He did that himself. She finally saw the real man behind the lies. And for once, I wasn't the one left in the dark. He showed up one Thursday evening just before sunset. I heard his car in the driveway. My heartbeat quickened, but I stayed calm. I had already prepared. New locks, documents ready, phone charged, camera above the door recording. He knocked softly at first, like nothing had happened. I stayed silent. Then the knocking grew harder, turning into pounding. He called my name over and over, begging me to open the door, insisting he just wanted to talk. I didn't answer. He lost that right the day he raised his hand against me. Then his tone shifted. He began shouting louder and louder. I heard him kick the door, yelling that this was still his house, that I had no right to lock him out. He called me cruel, unfair, accused me of destroying everything. Still, I said nothing. I just picked up my phone and hit record. even though the camera was already capturing everything. He kept yelling and kicking, then suddenly broke down into loud, desperate sobs. He begged me to come out, swearing he loved me, that he needed me, that he hadn't meant to hurt me. But I knew better. He had meant every slap, every cruel word, every threat. Now he was terrified not because of me, but because he had lost every ounce of control. I didn't answer the door. I didn't speak. I didn't even shift from where I sat. Instead, I picked up the phone and called the police. Calmly, I gave them my name, my address, and told them my soon-to-be ex-husband was outside trying to break in. I mentioned the restraining order already in place, and explained that I had video evidence capturing what was happening. They assured me officers were on the way. He was still lingering outside when the red and blue lights lit up the street. I stayed inside while they confronted him. He raised his voice, pointed at the house, and kept shouting my name like it would magically change the truth. But it didn't. I had prepared everything. The police knew this wasn't just panic. I had proof. A file with copies of my restraining order request, a written record of the abuse, and videos saved on both my phone and email. One officer eventually knocked and asked to speak with me. I opened the door only a crack, just wide enough to hand over the documents. I had no desire to hear his excuses or his practiced apologies. The officer nodded, told me I was doing the right thing, and then ordered him to leave. They warned that if he came back, there would be no more warnings, only charges. Finally, he walked away. From the window, I watched as his car rolled down the street. His face was different now, not angry, not crying, just hollow, as though he finally realized the game was finished. I drew the curtains shut and locked the door again. But this time there was no fear. I felt steady, calm, certain. For the first time in years, I knew he couldn't reach me anymore. After the police left, I sat down and backed up all my files again. I sent copies to my lawyer, stored them in multiple places. I wasn't about to let fear undo all my careful planning. He thought showing up with tears and anger would make me cave. But I didn't. He thought he still had power. But all he proved was that leaving him was the best decision I had ever made. The old me might have opened the door. The old me might have believed him. But that version of me was gone. He had lost control. And I wasn't giving it back. Court came faster than I expected. I walked in nervous but steady. My lawyer had every piece of evidence. Proof of abuse, of betrayal, of the money he tried to hide. I wasn't afraid to face him anymore. I sat tall as he entered the courtroom. He avoided my eyes, shoulders heavy, already knowing what was coming. He had never expected me to be this ready. He thought I'd crumble, cry, or beg. But I didn't. I had documents. Screenshots. Video from the doorbell camera. Texts between him and the other woman. Financial records he thought I'd never uncover. I had already given everything to my lawyer, and together we organized every detail. The judge listened carefully as my lawyer explained how he had pressured me to quit my job, made me dependent, then betrayed me. She laid out the hidden accounts, the unreported income, and even the night he tried to force his way back in. Everything was presented calmly, just facts. He tried to twist the story, but each time, we countered with the truth. His face flushed red. He raised his voice, and the judge warned him sharply. He looked desperate, drowning, but no one came to save him. No one believed his lies anymore. When the judge finally ruled, it was clear. I kept the house. I was granted legal custody of everything that belonged to me. He was ordered to pay alimony. And the unreported income? The judge said it would be handed over to the proper authorities. He was left with nothing but debt and shame. Walking out of court, he didn't say a word. He just stared at me like he no longer recognized who I was. And maybe he didn't. He had never seen the real me. He only knew the quiet woman who stayed small. That woman no longer existed. I had fought back and won. Outside, my lawyer smiled and said, "You did everything right." For the first time in years, I felt something I thought I'd lost, peace. This wasn't about money or property. It was about reclaiming my voice. For so long, I had been silenced, made to feel invisible. But that day I was heard. When I returned home, the house now entirely mine, I walked through each room feeling the weight lift. No longer a place of fear, it was finally a place of freedom. The next morning, I painted the bedroom walls, tossed out the remnants he left behind, opened the windows, played music, and let the sunlight in. It was a fresh start. Because it was mine. I didn't care about his anger or embarrassment. That was his burden. I had carried both our pain for too long. Now it was his turn to face the wreckage he created. He tried to break me. Instead, I grew stronger. He tried to hide secrets. I uncovered every one. He walked into court certain he would win, but left with nothing. I didn't just survive him. I ended his control. And I did it with patience, proof, and persistence. Now I live in the home he once dominated, building a life where he has no place. Looking back, I have no regrets. Not for freezing the accounts, not for changing the locks, not even for watching him lose in court. My only regret is waiting so long, giving him too many chances, believing his lies. I stayed silent for too long, convinced love meant patience, forgiveness, sacrifice. But real love doesn't make you feel small. It doesn't force you to walk on eggshells. It doesn't demand your silence. He wanted obedience. He wanted control. He got used to me staying quiet. And for a while I forgot my own strength. Until the night he hit me. And then laughed. That cruel, heartless laugh was the moment I woke up. I didn't want revenge. I wanted my life back. My safety. My peace. And I realized he was never going to give it to me. I had to take it myself. Step by step, I built my way out. It was painful. I cried in secret. I was afraid. But every screenshot, every saved file, every call to my lawyer brought me closer to freedom. Now I sleep soundly. I eat without knots in my stomach. I make choices without fear of his reaction. I laugh real laughter. My home is quiet, peaceful, alive. Do I miss him? No. I miss the version of myself before I met him. But I found her again. Stronger, wiser, impossible to fool. I share this not for sympathy, but because I know someone out there feels stuck like I once did. Afraid. Silent. Unsure. It isn't easy. But you're not powerless. Silence isn't weakness. Sometimes silence is where strategy begins. Sometimes it's where survival takes root. He thought he broke me. He thought I'd crawl back. He thought I needed him. He was wrong every time. I didn't just survive. I rose. I healed. I built better. And now, I will protect this peace with everything I have. I don't care if people say I was too harsh. They weren't the ones living in fear. They didn't rebuild from ashes. I did. So no, I don't regret a single step. My only wish is that I had chosen myself sooner. That I had left at the very first shout, the first insult, the first time he made me feel worthless. But I'm walking now. Head high. Shoulders back. No apologies. He lost someone good. I lost nothing worth keeping. This is my life now. And I'm never giving it up again. So what do you think? Was she right to take everything and leave for good? Or should she have given him one last chance? Share your thoughts in the comments.